Some stories never end. They keep whispering in the minds of those who heard them. An old hotel still whispers one name. Elisa Lam. This is the story of the mysterious black water. In the heart of Los Angeles, the streets were crowded with cars, neon lights shimmering over the sidewalks, and the sounds of music mixing with the shouts of passers-by. A city that never sleeps. Everything in it moves fast, except one corner of its noisy fabric, where an old silent building stands, as if it does not belong to this era, the Cecil Hotel, bearer of mysterious history. That night, exactly at midnight, the police received a strange call. The voice on the line was broken, trembling, as if coming from between the breaths of a terrified person. The water, it's not normal. There's something in it, moving. Then the line closed suddenly. When the patrol reached the Cecil Hotel, fog was engulfing the old gray facade. The building looked like a sick body, its windows open like mouths emitting a faint moan with the wind. The two officers exchanged worried glances, and one of them said as he stared at the upper floors, "It's as if the place is waiting for us." But before we know what the policeman found, we must go back a few days earlier. A few days before that, a girl named Elisa Lam entered the hotel with a small smile and a camera hanging from her neck. The old man at reception handed her the key to room 506 without lifting his eyes. He said in a cracked voice,
"On the 5th floor, don't sleep with the window open, and if you hear someone knocking on the door, ignore it."
She thought it was a joke, but that night, guests heard soft footsteps in the corridor, as if someone were walking barefoot on the carpet. In room 506, Elisa wrote in her notebook,
"I feel like the walls are breathing, and the water in the bathroom whispers my name."
And at 3 a.m, the first knock on her door was recorded. One slow knock, then a faint whisper from behind the door.
"Don't look. Don't open."
3 days later, Elisa went down to the elevator. The hotel cameras were watching her, but she was not alone. In the footage, she stood trembling, pressing the floor buttons one after another randomly, peeking her head into the corridor, as if following something moving too fast for the camera to catch. Then she raised her hands, as if pleading with someone unseen, suddenly backed away, hid in the corner of the elevator, her lips moving without sound, and after a few seconds, she walked out. The elevator did not close immediately, but remained open as if something unseen was standing in its doorway. A week passed, and the hotel began to change. Guests complained about the water. One of them said,
"It comes out black and smells like rotten meat."
The maintenance worker went up to the roof, opened the first tank empty, the second normal, the third still. But the fourth, when he lifted its lid, he stumbled back in terror and fell to the ground. From the darkness inside the tank, tiny air bubbles rose. Then a mass of black hair slowly wrapped around a floating white body. It was Elisa, her face pale, her eyes half open, and her mouth seemed to be either smiling or whispering. The investigation began. Officer Dawson went up to the roof himself, but when he tried to open the tank, he noticed the lock was from the inside. No fingerprints, no tools, no signs of climbing, nothing but water and death. Dawson watched the video recorded by the security cameras, replayed the clip many times, and each time, he stared at the empty space behind the elevator, then whispered,
"There's a shadow moving behind her."
the technician said fearfully.
But sir, those 2 minutes of footage were never recorded. It's like time disappeared.
Room 506 was sealed after the incident, but the workers who entered to clean it said they smelled the scent of rotten water in the bathroom. When one of them tried to turn the faucet, a cold breeze came out and a faint female voice whispered,
Don't look. Don't open.
Since that day, no one has gone up to the 5th floor, but at 3 in the morning, the elevator goes up by itself, stops on the 5th floor, its doors open slowly, and the sound of running water comes from afar, as if someone is moving on the roof. Three years later, a team came to film a documentary. On the second night, one of them went up to the roof with a thermal camera. He pointed the lens toward the 4th tank and saw a red circle, the heat of a human body in the water, then heard a knock from inside, then another, then a slow breathing sound. He ran terrified, shouting, "There's someone still inside." On the 3rd day, Laura, the team's camera woman, disappeared. And on her room mirror were words written in dripping water, "I'm here, and I never left." The last footage from her camera, Laura inside the elevator, pressing the buttons in a frantic order, turning to the camera with a stiff smile and saying, "The roof is open now." Then the recording cut off. Today, the hotel is closed, but neighbors say they still see a faint light on the 5th floor every night, and that sometimes the sound of water returns whispering from inside the pipes, along with a distant female laugh, like the gurgling of water as it chokes. They say Elisa never left. She's still there, floating in the dark. And when everything falls silent, she opens her eyes, looks toward the ceiling, and whispers from the depths,
Don't look. Don't open.
Thank you for following. And don't forget to subscribe, activate the bell, and share your opinions.